Hello guys, today we're playing Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Has been a lot since I started playing it, but I think I should continue it. It's such a good game. So, the time is it's 12 past 6 right now. Let's go. Yes. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? We're actually setting the clock both times you boot up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. You're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's so I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. Things are setting order correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game, set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want. If it's not the correct time, alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Yay. The end is never the end. This clock is the never the clock is never the clock is never the clock. Purple Ultra Deluxe begin game. End is never the end. Best meme ever. Someone doesn't agree, I'm gonna kill them. Best game ever.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee.
Oh,
All of
activity is too high.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Still too high. 2 is good.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is there new content? New content. Let's go.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Also, if you're asking why I'm playing with such high sensitivity in old games, because my mouse pad is really small, so I don't have much space to move my mouse. So that's how I got used to it. Wish I had a bigger mouse pad. The end is loading. What? I thought it was never the end. Why is the end loading? End is loading never. Wait, this is still so high sensitivity. I'm trying to get used to it.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Okay.
So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
The end is never the end
Yes, you
is
see, isn't
again.
this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Yes. I wanted a sequel all the time.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Look at the meeting. Stanley Parable 2. The Stanley Parable 2. The Stanley Parable 2. The Stanley Parable 2. The Stanley Parable, but 2 is it in there? Thanks for attending my meeting. Cool meeting.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be.
Oh,
But let's take a look at some of the
427.
features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting
Ooh.
concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Wait. Show floor. Let's go. New content. I want to enter the new content bus. Exit.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
No screenshots. Screenshot. How do I screenshot with Steam? If I took, let's take a another. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Hear your name in the game. Exclusive. Hear your name in the game. Enjoy the new features.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that what? Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
I am Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself... Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you
Why
just
is the game
humiliate me in front of
stopping?
a different feature that I worked very hard on?
I think I should be doing some stuff with my computer because even though it's a really good gaming PC, it's always stopping when loading new stuff. And loading screens take a lot longer than they
Maybe
used
I'll
to.
only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, no, the
They
epilogue.
would appreciate what I've created here.
Let's look at all of the features. That looks like a secret, so collectibles. Free achievement. This is Stanley. Stanley got his achievement.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley. But I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I hope they release Stanley Parable 2. I'm excited. I want to play Stanley Parable 2. I mean, the Stanley Parable 2.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
The jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
I like how none of it works. None. Exit. I don't want to exit. But collectibles.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
I want it. I want it. Why is it sad? Okay, I will collect them all.
It really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
No screenshots. I will
Okay,
do.
I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
I knew it. That's why I chose the blue one. I wanted the white one.
Maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
I'm sometimes just stopping talking in this game because the narrator is really good at that job.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for... You see? Isn't it wonderful?
Why is the voice lagging too?
If I do say so. Now,
Darn it.
since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
No thanks. I will fall till the end of time.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found
No
out,
mug.
Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually... Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little
Why
heated
does
there.
he
I think we
lag?
both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all. But not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the,
No,
button not working?
I can't jump.
You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose
Jump.
there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
I will have fun here. I will have lots of... What's happening? Wait. Getting deeper. To be infinitely deep. What? No. Wait. Getting black. Getting dark down here. Am I gonna go down infinite? Only time will tell. Oh my god. What the fuck is happening? Am I gonna become Jim? I'm becoming Jim.
Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off
Oh,
there,
man.
drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Oh, I couldn't. Oh, awkward. But I didn't get to see all of the new. Oh, awkward.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
What if I? Okay, just giving an idea. What if I go there again? What do you think? Darn it. Fuck it. What else is there? It's all. Is this all of the exciting new content? It's the. It's. It's a. It's the. Wait. I have to see everything before.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Screenshotted everything there.
A common complaint of the
Oh
Stanley
my
Parable
god.
was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
Where is
It's
it?
the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal.
I need
and
to jump
perhaps even
from up there.
comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it?
I
The
can.
comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
The bucket. I have to protect it.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award.
That's
if
a
it
QR
isn't
code.
already.
I like pressing past. How can I enter the epilogue? Where's the epilogue? I don't want to exit. I want to go to the epilogue. There is no exit. For the exit. Let's go to the epilogue.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now? So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet.
Like, why does it skip? It skips the last bit of
How exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes. This
Wait,
is
I didn't
much
see the
better. I
epilogue.
feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
What? The door. Where does it go? Where does it take me? It's taking me somewhere. You begin the game.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket.
The balloon.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Wait, I entered the right door. But I've entered the wrong door.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Okay.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked
I interrupted
upstairs
you.
to the boss's office.
Stanley.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good.
I see one.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Is this that? Is that?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go.
I think
to the
it's
meeting
because
room.
I'm
Perhaps
pressing
he had
too
simply missed
fast.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
How can I go there?
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you.
But Stanley
I
feared
didn't
that
do
any
it.
path he walked.
No, I did it accidentally. Fuck.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
First, let's get some Stanley figurine.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs. What about
Stanlerines.
Stanlerines. Yes, I think I like that.
I do
Another
too.
Stanlerine under your belt.
There a chance I can go down here? I want to enter there. Where is this? Wait, what did I do?
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
It doesn't make sense.
Make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket
It's like the companion
in my
cube.
arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that?
What the fuck?
Who's there?
What the fuck happened?
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-worker.
Oh, why? Why is the dialogue getting cut off?
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Is there anything in here?
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the...
What?
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Let's go. Did I do this ending in my first video? Because I do not remember. I do not remember at all.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time
No
with
one
it.
asked.
Don't you want another story involving the adventure line? We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
But I want the bucket, not the adventure line.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
I'm not
I
giving the
think it'll
bucket.
make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
Nope.
And then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No thanks. I'm not ready. I am not giving you.
Now
What?
listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have
No.
to hurry and feed it. We
No.
can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry!
Haha. So, where's my bucket? What did you do to my
The Bucket
bucket?
Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Bye. Bucket Destroyer, you're my greatest enemy because my bucket is my favorite buddy. And anything that destroys buckets. Wait, what? My bucket?
All of his the good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
Whiteboard and
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest
dog
and
mode.
entered the door on his left.
I'm in.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
It is
Stanley
never
took
wrong.
the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go. Good,
said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's
Oh no.
something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it.
I'm barking.
This
Open the door.
could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay. The end is loading. Is this a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Darn it.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of the bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
Although everything is a bucket. Everything is a bucket.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
It's a big bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
What? I mean, it is a bucket. But I didn't think you'd know it's a
Item
bucket.
6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
I am the bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Yes. Everything.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What
Cry about it.
What isn't a bucket?
Everything is a
I
bucket.
could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am
I do.
a bucket?
Yes, you are.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets
No.
from the game entirely. Okay. Here
No,
we go.
we're all going to be erased. We're all buckets.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Yes.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
Yes.
Oh my god, I had no idea.
I told you.
Except me. I'm
You
not
are
a
a
bucket
bucket.
after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
We are buckets.
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game.
Yes.
So, tell you what. I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll
Okay.
know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Yes, the buckets are back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Why is this
Stanley
changed?
decided to go.
Okay, I think this is enough for today. Let's go. Bye. See you in the next episode of the Stanley Parable 2. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I mean, not the Ultra Deluxe, the 2. The Stanley Parable 2.